so good. People in Fontaine sure know how to enjoy life.
Why, of course. Go ahead, try whatever you like.
Everything here is so
I'll make a
aggressively
group
French.
reservation for the rest of
Which I know
Spina
is
di
like the
Rosula
point,
next
but
time.
it's also hilarious.
And if it's not?
Well, then I'll still bring everyone. Albeit with only one dish per table.
You,
I really like Nafia.
sure have your own way of doing things. Oh, we called this a farewell meal, but we could also treat it like a victory feast, right? We did just win that case after all.
Oh,
Against
true.
all odds.
Very true. In that case, boss, we'll have another 2 dishes.
Good lord.
Paimon didn't mean that you had to order even more food.
Nafia is delightful.
Speaking of cases, do you think that the mastermind behind the serial disappearances will get caught soon now that this has all happened?
Well, we've certainly taken a big step forward, but I feel that's about it. We know that there's an organization that means to dissolve these young women, but we still don't know what they are really after.
If it hadn't happened right in front of us, Paimon wouldn't have ever believed that a person could be dissolved like that.
It was in the proxy, I'm just
Right?
saying.
Yet it was because this was such a preposterous notion that the investigation could never really move forward before.
Ugh. If only that guy could have finished speaking. We were so close to hearing who was behind it.
Yeah, that's why they
In such
silenced him.
investigations, even the smallest step can seem like a yawning chasm if the trail of clues is cut off. To be honest, I don't have high hopes for any follow-up that the authorities might conduct. It's not that I don't have faith in their ability, it's just that a different perspective is required in some matters. It's easy to guard against and deceive a single narrow perspective. A shift in thinking is required at such times in order to produce a breakthrough. Which is exactly why the Spina di Rosula exist. Those highfalutin folk are not all-knowing.
Oh my
That's
god.
why we exist. To seep into the cracks where filth falls through, where their watch fails them. That's the kind of problems we solve.
Good for her.
Seems Paimon thought things were simpler than they actually are.
It's all right. Well, this was supposed to be a farewell meal, so I doubt you have further interest in this business, right? Let's talk about something else. Like, what are your future plans?
Yeah, I don't think she's gonna love talking to us after that,
That's
but you know.
true. We didn't have a chance to speak to her after the trial ended. It didn't really seem like the right time or place to do it anyway.
I see. So, your primary objective, which has been foiled so far, was to have a chat with the Hydro Archon. I've heard that there's a long line of people waiting to meet Lady Farina. I suspect you'll be waiting for quite a while, considering that you missed your chance today.
Yeah, we've heard that she's super popular here in Fontaine, and that it'll be tough getting any of her time.
Well, would you consider some more, unique ways?
Nafia is perfect in
Perhaps
every
even
possible
methods
way.
of, let's say, questionable legality?
Guess that's Spina di Rosula's boss for you. Chock
Oh my
full
God.
of sketchy ideas. Well, what did you have in mind?
Well, one way would be to infiltrate a performance troupe at the Opera House, only to abandon your act at the play's climax and ask to speak to her after the performance. I'm sure Lady Farina would be eager to see the ending, and would agree in order to finish watching the play.
Oh my
Don't you
god.
think?
Could you suggest something a little more practical? This plan seems pretty hard to pull off. We'd have to go learn how to act, and acting's really hard.
All right, here's another. Find a way to conceal yourselves under her bed. Then wake her up in the dead of night and demand answers.
That
Don't
sounds
let
like
her
something
go
you
back
want to
sleep
do.
until she answers all your questions. I can personally testify that this one works. When I'm sleepy, I'll do anything as long as I can finally get some sleep.
Oh my
That
god.
might work, but that's not really the problem. The problem is we don't want to get ourselves arrested.
Ah, valid point. I overlooked that part. I was just thinking about leveraging a person's desire for sleep. All right, no more joking around. Perhaps you could... Oh, I don't know. Cut the line when she's on a break. You did defeat her in court, clearing citizens of hers from false accusations. False accusations she had nearly upheld personally. I imagine that she feels quite ashamed about the whole thing.
You mean that if we catch her while she's on a break, she might be too embarrassed to refuse? Oh, that does make some sense. Why don't we give it a try after this meal? You know, strike while the iron is hot and all.
Before she can compose
Paimon,
herself.
did you drink my Fanta?
Was this your drink? Sorry about that. Paimon?
No, it's fine. We're just about done here.
Y'all haven't eaten any of the food.
Alright. Honestly, Paimon wouldn't recommend Fanta anyway. It tastes kind of salty and icky.
Is that so? Huh. Well, in that case, we'll have to blacklist the Fanta here then. If we're all finished eating, then I'll go pay.
Yeah, we're stuffed. Thanks for the treat, Navia.
She just, like, decked them out. Like, oh, it's a little treat. Like, no, that is definitely the most expensive restaurant in the city.
Oh, so full. Paimon can barely float anymore. Can't you see Paimon's barely an inch off the ground?
Okay. As for expenses
Oh my
this
God.
month, we're left with...
Hey, Navia! What are you doing over there?
Oh, nothing. It was just a meal, you know? Nothing the Spina di Rosula can't cover.
Oh, honey.
Let's get ready to try to meet the Hydro Archon again. Bye, Navia!
So this is goodbye, huh? Well, if you do encounter any other trouble in Fontaine, you're always welcome to contact the Spina di Rosula. I'll
I
give
really,
your
really like
request
her
the highest
design.
priority. In any case, I wish you smooth sailing. I'll see you again, partner.
See ya!
And they're appealing to my weakness, given to me by Persona 4, which is calling the MC partner.
There aren't many people around anymore. Looks like that boat we took to Araneas might have been the last one.
Vache.
Nope, same voice.
Looks like we're back here again. Huh? Traveler? Are you hearing voices again? Ugh. That's kinda spooky. Are you sure we don't want to come back in the morning?
He looks so grumpy about it.
Vache.
Hey, why are you still walking towards it? There might be something
Oh,
nasty in the
buddy.
water. Huh?
We cannot keep doing
Hang on.
this.
Paimon can kinda hear a voice. It's calling for Vache, right? Hey, Traveler?
Hello?
Stop walking! Come on, wake up!
Oh. Oh. Hey, girl.
Vache. Are you my dear Vache?
No.
No, wait. You seem to be someone else. Do you know Vache?
He's so
Do you know where
cute.
my love is?
Sorry. We need a moment. He's adorable.
Wait. Who am I?
Oh, that's, It's been a
I'm
minute,
very
but that is
sorry,
mad fucked.
I do not know. My memories feel like they have been washed away like a flood. So many fragments dissolved amidst the tide, never to be recovered. How much have I lost? How many things that I once held dear while on land have I since forgotten?
Hello?
Yes, that is what I was once. But now, I am but the consciousness of one who is lost, therefore.
Hello?
I do not know how I came to be like this either. I only vaguely remember being covered in light blue water, and then all grew dim. I also remember going to many places. I loved adventure, loved exploring
Oops.
places of
Oh
peril.
no.
No matter where I went,
God.
Vache would go with me. I knew how dearly he loved me. And I also loved him equally as much. But now, we can no longer go back. The pain of such parting. No, our reunion no longer has any meaning. There is no way for us to
Yeah, I
create
do like the
any
question
new
mark.
memories. The thought of me gives him no succor. So let it lie forgotten beneath the waters.
I mean,
If you meet Vashi,
okay.
tell him not to look for me. Tell him to move on. That is the only thing I still
Oh,
remember.
God. Is
Perhaps that is so,
mad fucked?
as I was submerged in the waters.
Mad
Losing
fucked.
consciousness. I saw Vache above the surface. His eyes were filled with such sorrow, such longing. If only I could have comforted him, told him that I did not suffer. Indeed, I had felt a great warmth. Is that what you call it? Dissolving.
Oh, Jesus, God.
If anything,
There is so
I
much to
consider
unpack
it a
here.
form of release.
I think we should throw the whole
It
suitcase
was a
out.
state of neither fear nor frenzy, with only an endless peace, like the water's still surface. I could also
power
liken
of
it
water.
to being a
Am
thirsty
I right,
person
guys?
who drinks water for the first time, and only then sees how they have lived for so long in a world of endless want and anxiety. I think I hear your companion. It's time for you to go, I think. Farewell, then. I am glad that you were able to sense my presence. Remember, if you see Vache, tell him not to
No,
seek
if we
me
see
out
Vache,
any
we're about to
longer.
have some fucking words. Is what I think. Take the shape of water instead. Oh. Oh? Hello? What the hell did we just wake up to? Like, go girly go, but hello? Is she Claymore? Yeah, that's White Blind.
Demoiselle, look out!
Nice. I do hate that I can recognize the
God.
White Blind on
It's
sight.
a whole army of Gardamex.
That is also from the trailer.
Clorand?
Oh, she's good. Hi. Oh, she's very good.
Quick, now's our chance!
Okay. It's really fun to see them diverting what they created. Diversion in the trailer. I also think that they did not mess around with Clorin's design. Even a little. Yeah, I was like, that was deeply homoerotic.
I should
Good
thank
for
you
them.
for lending us your sword there, Clorand. But before I do so, could you explain how you managed to show up here?
I followed you. It seemed to me that danger has followed you more closely as of late.
I believe that
Dude,
following
her
someone
buttons are
without their
putting in
knowledge is
overtime.
actually called
Also, yes, she
stalking,
is going to be
is it
playable.
not?
Mr. Callus's last wish was for me to ensure your safety, and I will not betray his trust,
The choices
He will
with her
do the
buttons
same.
are killing me.
were he alive today.
Do not speak of my father!
Sorry, demoiselle. I was not strong enough.
No,
Thank
Silver,
you
you're
for your
perfect in
aid,
every
Miss
way.
Clorand, but do keep an eye out for your manner of speech.
Oh,
I believe we
Melisse
all wish
is
to avoid unnecessary
one
emotional harm.
who talked in the trailer.
Sorry, I did not consider your feelings.
Whatever. What else do you know? How did you come to the conclusion that I'd be in grave danger?
I doubt I know much more than you, but I believe that the mastermind behind the serial disappearances is very powerful. Your performance tonight will almost certainly attract their attention.
I'm sure they've known about me. To be honest, I'm shocked it's taken them this long to act against me.
I am genuinely delighted by how much they've subverted the trailer,
I thought
though.
only those associated with a Maison Gardiennage could control them.
None of these mecha have serial numbers. I was sure to check a moment ago. They are not the ones used by the authorities to enforce the law. I can only conclude that some powerful or wealthy party must have obtained them via illegal means, deploying them as a private force of sorts.
What?
That's
Your point being that they're
mad
out of
fucked?
Spina di Rosula's league, then?
Yes. Be careful, and do not act rashly.
I don't think she's capable of that.
Investigating no matter what. We will bring the truth to light. That's my father's true last wish. Regardless, thank you for your help today, Clarand. But if you get any ideas, tell me first. I don't much appreciate being followed.
I do not think that they'll strike again anytime soon. So I shall stop following you. Good day, all.
I very much enjoy her character. That is not what I expected at all.
Right. I suppose that's the best news we've gotten today.
Demoiselle, I believe that Miss Clarand was being sincere with you. If we tried, we could attempt to thaw relations a little.
I know, I just... She's...
They've got some
I thought we were
history.
done for. Those Gardamex came out of nowhere while you were unconscious, and Nadia and her gang saved us. Oh, and there was that champion duelist named Clarand who came out to save us too. We got lucky there. Paimon probably couldn't have fought them off otherwise.
Oh, come now. Forget all that polite talk. That wasn't really a farewell meal we had back there. Not for me, anyway. In truth, I hope that every meal we have together shall be a victory feast.
Oh, that's
As
cute.
such, we're still partners. There's no need to thank me.
It will take 50 years for me to match Demoiselle's magnanimity.
I am
If
so
it were
obsessed with this
me, I
dynamic.
would have joined the Spina di Rosula on account of her goodwill long ago.
All right, you two.
Like, she just
That's
has
enough.
these two hype men that
Actually,
follow her
Nadia,
everywhere
how did you know
and
that we were in
carry things
danger?
for her.
You sure did show up in the nick of time.
Well, to be honest, you're the one who tipped us off, Paimon.
Huh? Really? Paimon could...
Yes, all thanks to you grabbing my drink by mistake.
How did that help?
Oh, they were
After we
trying to
parted
dissolve her.
ways,
That's why
I
it
was on the way
tasted
back
weird.
to one of our bases when I suddenly thought of what you said. That the Fanta tasted kind of salty and icky. Fanta only comes in sweet flavors. So how could it have tasted salty? The color of the drink, if I
Yeah.
recall, had also been a bit off.
So the Fanta had been spiked with water from the primordial sea?
That is,
Yes.
as the kids say,
So if you hadn't
Had
drunk that
fucked.
cup for me,
Spina di Rosula is preparing the grandest of awards for you as we speak for saving the boss.
oh my god.
Really?
I sent people to Hotel de Boer to investigate, but whoever did this left no trace at all. That's when I figured out that you might be in danger and hurried here as quickly as I could.
But why would they go after us too? All we did was defend Lenny in court and help clear his name.
In fairness, people
Now
just
we're caught up
really
in
like
this
to
mess
come
too,
after
aren't
us.
we?
Well, you did foil a plan that they were probably pretty proud of. Speaking of which, did anything strange happen when you drank the primordial seawater?
Well, it can't be a coincidence that the traveler fainted just now. He said that he heard that voice calling for Vache again. Oh, and this
One of
time
those
Paimon heard it
punchable
too.
faces.
But it was real faint. Does
So
this
many.
situation have to do with the primordial seawater then? Does that mean the primordial seawater raises someone's sensitivity to hydro when it's used on people who are not from Fontaine?
That doesn't sound like too much of a bad thing, to be honest.
Also, I think it does increase the sensitivity of the Fontanian people to Hydro. Just, you know, a little too much. They get a little too in tune with the Hydro.
New intel? While you were out cold?
Well, let's hear it, shall we? Oh, that is important. Vache. That name doesn't ring a bell. I suppose he hasn't stepped forward as a witness in court lately. Since he saw that
Can't
young
even
woman
take a little
dissolve,
dissolving.
he was at least at the crime scene. But he never gave testimony or any information regarding people dissolving in the primordial seawater. Could he have been threatened? Yes, thank you.
Get dissolved, idiot.
This is very important information indeed. We will continue to investigate. Oh, you mean you'll help us investigate?
I mean, we
Well,
have
you
been
did say that our
unwillingly
farewell meal didn't really
looped in.
count. That means we're still partners, right? And besides, we're in this now whether we like it or not. You're not gonna let those people who targeted us get off the hook so
Yeah,
easily,
it's
are you,
about
Traveler?
it's about people soup.
Demoiselle, do try not to look quite so pleased. You are the face of Spina di Rosula, after all.
She's a little bit of a
You
bastard.
talk too much. Well, in that case, let's head back to
Stop
one of our
being
bases,
so
shall
dramatic.
we? I'll arrange accommodations for you.
Oh my god.
We also have some plans to go over, and hopefully we can deepen our bonds as partners. But we'll take that one step at a time, I guess.
Don't worry, you two. With us around, our base is definitely secure.
Thank you, Silver.
It's right up ahead, but let's make sure we weren't followed first.
I've been keeping watch, Demoiselle. I haven't spotted anyone suspicious thus far.
Very good. But let's not let our guard down for now.
I shall find rooms for our respected guests.
Thank you, Malus. Now, let's continue, Traveler.
Yeah, because I was like, this is so deeply up Remy's
This
alley.
is your base? It's not quite what Paimon imagined.
Your accommodations have been arranged. Under the present circumstances, I can confidently say it's the best we have.
Bro, don't be ungrateful.
Well, our funds have been a little tight lately. After all, we don't allow illegal or unethical profiteering. In fact, our funds often come from citizenry who support us.
Seems like it's tough times for everyone. But if you have the support of the people, that does sound like it's worth it.
To be honest, our financial situation was a lot better back when my father was in charge a few years ago. I'm afraid I'm not quite his equal.
Your father, he was the previous boss of Spina di Rosula, right? How did he...
Yeah, I really want the next
Demoiselle,
thriller.
if you'll allow me to explain.
No, I'll explain it myself. I suppose I couldn't run from this topic forever. And as partners, this is something I hope they can understand. My father's name is Callus. Yes, the same one they call Callus the Unfaithful in the streets. 3 years ago, he was accused of murdering his
We'll
own
get there.
friend. But he chose a duel to defend his honor instead of standing trial. He died in the duelist's ring.
Oh no.
But I do not believe my father was a murderer. I'm sure he was set up. At the time, I believed that if he only stood trial and was duly investigated, something amiss would crop up and prove his innocence. But strangely, he not only requested the duel himself, but rumor has it that even after being seriously injured, to the point where he could be deemed as having lost the duel, he refused to surrender, determined to die in the arena.
You do have to lick your butt
3
right
years
now.
later, I
We're
still
talking
don't
about her
understand why he did
her
that.
father's death.
How could he protect his honor if he's dead? If anything, he gave up his chance to defend himself.
You done? Nope. He is just sitting on my bed, loudly licking her butt.
The closest piece of info I have is that my father had been investigating the serial disappearances case at the time of his death.
Ah, so that's why you're so determined to get to the bottom of that case.
Ah, it's the trauma queen.
That's right. I've also tried to investigate the murder my father was implicated in.
Yeah, I think like
But
playing through it
I
took
haven't
us like
found
a week,
single
and that
new
was like
clue in
during
my
while
countless reviews
working.
of the investigation records. However, I believe that if the murder case is related to those behind the disappearances, they must know something. I must know what really happened. Was my father coerced? Framed? Even if he really did kill his friend, I must get to the truth. If only he'd been more open with me when he was still alive. He even hid the fact that my mother died due to complications when giving birth to me.
Dear
And
God.
now, here I am investigating his death. You really are a handful, aren't you, Papa?
Oh, buddy.
Demoiselle, please, if there is anything I can do, anything at all.
I also will never believe that Master Callus murdered anyone. There are none whom I respect more than the two of you,
I
Demoiselle.
am so obsessed with
Master
this
Callus
dynamic.
did so much good in life, yet all it took was one murder case for him to be dubbed Callus the Unfaithful. Even our supporters decreased greatly due to that incident, hence our strained finances at present.
Wait, if Callus was such a good man, wouldn't people at least be a little suspicious when he was accused?
No. Perhaps people just revel in that kind of drama. It's not something exclusive to people from Fontaine, really. Everyone's like that. People love watching the evil turn over a new leaf, but they also enjoy watching good people fall into an abyss from one slip-up just as much.
Your experiences are not universal. Yeah. Yeah, I think that her and Deluc, I want to lock them in a room and see what happens.
But how could... never mind. If Callus was really falsely accused, we have to find the truth. He didn't deserve to have that happen to him.
There is one other thing. Master Callus's opponent
And
in
there's
the duel
the
was
homoeroticism.
Ms. Clorand.
Oh, her? Well, then, isn't that as good as saying that she was the one who killed him? Yeah, that's not the sort of thing that you can just let go and move on from.
Ms. Clorand has always placed great emphasis on the honorable nature of the duel. If her opponent doesn't yield, she will not stop either. She knew Master Callus beforehand and greatly respected him, but seeing how he was resolute in the arena, there was only ever one choice she could have made.
It's not that I don't understand her at all, but I just can't deal with this yet.
Don't worry, Navia. Paimon knows how you feel.
Afterward, Ms. Clorand told us that at the start of the duel, Master Callus requested that she ensure Demoiselle Navia's safety.
Yeah, truly.
Yes, that is our understanding as well.
Oh, Papa. What madness drove you to ask the person who killed you to take care of me? All right, anyway, that's the information I wanted to share with you. Even if it did sound like I was just complaining towards the end. Thanks. You two should go and rest.
It's like,
This
I
was
need
quite
to
day
go have a
after all.
moment. I did not mean to tell you that much.
Paimon's feet.
Please, relax and get some sleep. We will ensure you rest soundly.
We're gonna get to see the room this time. I did very much like that in... Okay, never mind. In Sumeru.
Slept so well. This place feels almost too safe. Huh? Navia? Where did the other two go?
I sent them back to Poisson. It's Spina de Rosula's place of origin, and where we have our headquarters. There's not much for them to do here at the moment.
I love that... It's just
I get the
fish.
feeling
I've
that
sent
you're
them
just
to
trying to get
fish.
them off your back. But never mind that. When did you get back? Were you waiting here the whole time?
No, I just returned after going out for a while. I did some investigating yesterday regarding the name Vache.
Wait, so you didn't sleep at all?
How could I after having such critical new evidence appear?
Girl, have you ever heard that
Guess
sleep
Paimon
helps
wasn't
you
speaking for everyone
process
just now, huh?
information?
Unfortunately, this name seems to have been wiped from existence. It doesn't seem to have a match anywhere. I suspect that those behind this have already taken steps to hinder an investigation from this angle. But that does prove that this Vache person is a key witness in the incident.
Does that mean we're too late, though?
No. There is one ray of hope. One place in Fontaine that they would find almost impossible to threaten, no matter how much they wanted to. And that is the archives kept by Chief Justice Neuvillette. A place where detailed files on all the cases in recent years are kept. If the Oceanette you met is one of the young women who went missing recently, we should be able to find some related information there.
Nice.
So Neuvillette maintains an archive of case files? Whew. Guess that's the hard-working Chief Justice for you. In that case,
I'm so
let's
excited we get to go see him
shall we?
again.
Aren't you coming along, Navia? Did you get tired?
One, she didn't sleep. Two, I have
No,
a feeling
it's
that
nothing. Let's go see the
the
Honorable
court
Chief
doesn't
Justice.
love her. So true.
Halt! Please state your business here. The Chief Justice is presently occupied with official matters.
Huh. This place does look pretty heavily guarded. Guess that proves that Neuvillette's files are really secure.
Hey, don't you recognize us?
Huh? Who are you? Just to be clear, I don't care who you are or who you might be related to. Our rules make no exceptions.
See? They've got great discipline, too.
Oh my god.
Yep. Paimon can tell.
If you're here just to crack jokes, I can point you towards the exit. Unlike some, we
I
are
just want to
busy,
squish
so
their little
please leave if you
ears.
don't have a reason to be here.
No. What I meant to say is, shouldn't you remember us from a few days ago? We were at the trial of the great magician Linny.
Oh, yes, I remember. I read about it in the Steambird. You must be Linny's attorneys. It's all coming back to me now.
We're here today to report and archive some information on a follow-up case.
Huh, is that even a thing?
She's so cute.
Of course. Don't worry. We're here on official business. You can trust us.
All right then, I'll let you through. The Chief
Okay,
Justice
all of
is
my
just inside.
belief in the security just went out the window.
Thanks so much.
I love that Navia's like, look, they're so disciplined. Look, it's super safe. And then turns around and is like, you can trust us. Let us in. And they're like, you're so right.
Please come in.
Nice. Ooh, it's a fancy office. Sorry, I'm walking slow because I want to look at the office and I know it's going to start the cutscene. Okay. Like, they could not have backtracked on that any faster.
Sorry to barge in, Monsieur Neuvillette. We only lied to get in because we didn't know any other way.
Like, we just lied and got in here so easy. Yeah, me too.
It's all right. Please let me know how I
They
may
didn't
be
need
of
to target
assistance
me as
to
hard
you.
as they did with him. They really didn't.
So you're not mad at us?
We're looking for a man called Vache. He may have been an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. If we can find him, we may be able to unearth some key information on the case.
Ah, I see. In that case, please wait here
How many
a moment
times
while
can
I
we say
browse through the
case?
files.
I say as if I haven't said mad fucked a lot of times in this quest so far.
Who knew that Neuvillette would be so easy to talk to?
He's so good. They really didn't have to do us like this.
Unfortunately, I'm quite certain that no one by the name of Vache has been involved in any case, criminal or civil, in the past several years. There are no records of him either in the files or in my memory.
Traveler, what if it was really just a dream?
Is that so? All right then. Thank you so much, Monsieur Neuvillette. We'll take our leave now.
Ahem. Miss
I like that they
Navia,
did the, like,
I can understand how you feel.
thing they did with Locha's hair. With his.
Your father, Callus, was a truly exceptional man. We deeply regret his passing.
And what are you trying to say, Monsieur Neuvillette? Are you trying to console me? Extend your sympathy? Or just express some tendril of regret? No. You are not trying to do any of that. I can hear it in your voice. There's no emotion behind your words. You only said those things because you
It's
felt
okay, Queen,
like
it's
you
just
should.
the autism. Dude, they did not have to make his... yeah, that was like, it's literally... that's just the autism. His eyelashes are so pretty.
It's just like last time. After my father took his place in the duelist ring, I pushed through the guards to talk to you as a last resort.
Sorry, Navi, I'm really trying to pay attention, but I keep remembering that he has thigh-high boots on. I know that you do too, but it's different.
You even told me then that you thought there was something fishy with the case, yet you still allowed the duel to go ahead.
Oh yeah, like, it's definitely gotta be a hint. But I also had to drag her for it.
In your eyes, the value of a human life is nothing compared to those cold laws you hold so dear.
That was in the trailer. Yeah, no, he's very careful. Like, it's definitely... it means something.
If you truly regret my father's death, then why didn't you call a stop to the duel?
Yeah, I was gonna say, that was your father's
Why
choice.
didn't you give me the power to stop him from throwing his life away? Why did you just let him die, despised and hated by all? Everything was hanging on a thread at that moment. Just the tiniest effort could have changed everything. There are still so many things I never got to tell him. So many questions he still
Yeah,
owes me answers to.
they went off with the tears.
If you really have no heart, then just look me in the eyes. I, Navia, will show you the true meaning of regret.
He doesn't want to look you in the eyes.
I'm
It's
sorry,
the
Miss
autism.
Navia.
You and my father are truly alike. You keep all kinds of things in your heart and never say a word to anyone. It's not so much that you can't feel, but that you would never express anything.
Didn't expect Fontaine to tackle toxic masculinity.
Oh well. In any case, everyone already knows full well the apathy of the Chief Justice. My apologies for taking my emotions out on you, Monsieur Chief Justice. Let's go, Traveler and Paimon.
Go off. You will look. Miki is round.
Navia, are you okay?
I'm fine. Rain. It's raining.
No! It rains when the Hydro Dragon cries.
You're right. Wasn't it still sunny when we went into the building? And there shouldn't be any active trials today. How strange.
Now that I think of it, on the day my father was convicted of murder, it was
Oh?
also raining.
What is it? Did you think of something?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was outside. It was uncovered and the rain could fall there. Why? Do you think the rain could have affected the crime scene? That thought has occurred to us before. We've even expanded the search area to try to account for that, but didn't find anything of value.
Oh my god.
Oh? Wait. You don't mean...
So you're saying that the true murderer could have been turned into water? and then got washed away with the rain?
Is real.
Yeah. And if that's what had happened, then no one would have believed your dad, even if he explained what he saw to the authorities.
I really think I found a true genius for a partner. You're completely right. How did I not connect the dots earlier?
In fairness, because it's completely absurd.
All right, let's go to Poisson.
I
With
believe
this
she
new
said a
lead
couple
in mind,
years.
We'll get to the bottom of my father's case for sure.
Like, I think she said 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, we're gonna make progress for sure this time.
How long is the They did say the, serial disappearances, though, has been going on for a couple decades.
Do you want to go with me now? Or do you want to head over by yourself later?
So I do think that the people soup loses the people soup qualities either once it people soups or like something. Like maybe... Because otherwise, like, the people soup would be getting soaked up by the clouds and then rain back down, and then all of the people would be dissolved into the waters, prophecy style. So I think that the people soup is, like, closer to the Death Stranding timefall methodology.
Great.
People soup concentrate.
What a huge
Oh,
ship.
that's so cute.
Why would a ship be anchored at a place like this?
50.1% people by volume, otherwise it is regular water. And not just 50.1% people, 50.1% French people. Which, you know what, no, we do know that it
So
doesn't.
surprised. While it may look like a ship, it's actually Spina di Rosula's headquarters.
That there does have to be a certain amount of concentration, because they did mention that it was also being used as a drug. That, like, if you dilute it enough, it can be used as a drug. Which imply, and I would assume that because they're talking about this in Fontaine, that that's a drug that they can peddle in Fontaine. So that would mean that there is a concentration level that is non-lethal, but will get you high.
My father was the one who asked for it to be built like this. Perhaps our taste in exterior design is the only thing we occasionally had in common. A gigantic and glamorous ship embodies discovery, opportunity, ambition, and conquest. It symbolizes Spina di Rosula's bright and limitless future.
Oh my god, all the people soup is flowing into the fountain, and then all the people who go to the fountain to wish for things are getting a secondary high. And then they're all like, dude, I want to go watch a trial. We should watch a trial. We've done it. We've solved why Fontaine is so mad fucked.
And Paimon thought you were bluffing when you said Spina di Rosula had a glorious past.
Paimon, why did you think that?
Paimon was confused why a group with such a history would live in the sewers. But now that Paimon has seen this ship for herself, she's been convinced.
Well, Poisson is where Spina di Rosula began, after all. It's our main base, our home. Melus, we're back!
Apologies for the wait, demoiselle, and our most important partners. You said before that you still had some business at the court. What brings you back to Poisson so quickly?
The court was useless.
About that. It's because my partner here reminded me of something really important. You see, what if my father's case had something to do with water from the primordial sea? You still remember, right, Melus? On that night, it was raining?
Yes, the case was quite similar to that of Mr. Linney's. Both were what you'd call impossible murders.
Could you tell us a bit more about what happened before?
Yeah, of course. Many years ago, something called synth began to gain popularity in Poisson.
Primordial soup.
At a glance, it was a kind of drink that could excite your mood and produce many pleasant hallucinations.
They invented LSD and Genshin Impact.
Wait! Didn't that guard guy who turned into water also mention that the primordial water could be used to produce some kind of potion?
Yes, he did. Considering what we know now, it's almost certain that synth is created using water from
really
the
do.
primordial sea.
And then if the absinthe is too concentrated, they become souped.
If you drink synth for an extended amount of time, you'll suffer many side effects, such as losing the ability to focus or control your emotions. And if you were to stop drinking it completely, you'll experience flashes of paranoia and anxiety while
Just like
lacking
real
energy to
absinthe.
do anything. It's an extremely dangerous substance.
That's fair.
As he oversaw Poisson, my father was compelled to put a stop to synth abuse and called for a complete ban of it.
Boss's uncompromising attitude incurred the synth vendor's wrath, but no matter how much they threatened or bribed him, he refused to yield.
So they framed him.
Not only that, Boss
And
became
they
determined to
stooped
find
someone.
the mastermind behind the synth operation and put an end to the problem once and for all.
Yes, but the enemy was very cunning. So he could never get anything out of the dealers, all of whom only sold the stuff and weren't privy to the rest of the operation.
Yeah, I'm like, so did we never consider he was framed?
Recognizing that, my father decided to contact the dealers in secret and cultivate personal relationships with them. Finally, he was able to convince someone to become his informant. The man's name was Jacques. He felt greatly ashamed about his work after seeing many families destroyed by synth abuse. That night, my father hosted a banquet at his countryside estate. He planned to meet up and exchange information with Jacques over some food. But then, we heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. We raced to the scene and found my father, still holding a gun, and Jacques, who was already dead on the ground.
Okay, respectfully, that doesn't sound like an impossible murder. I'm sure that there's gonna be
Aren't they on the same
something further, but I'm like, yeah, I see how he got arrested there.
Sounds just like Lenny's case, doesn't it? In both cases, the culprit seemed obvious, but neither appeared to have any motive at all.
Respectfully, again, I would not necessarily agree with that. He's working with a dealer who could very easily double cross him. And or like betray him in a way that could compromise his safety and cause him to kill him. Like that, I know objectively we're going to turn around and that's not going to be the case, but the way that they have crafted this particular piece in the moment is, one, he does potentially have motive. Because at least with, yeah, like, there's no... It's not like Jacques was, like, his lifelong friend or someone he was actively, like, working with. Like, he's someone that he convinced to become his informant, but could easily have turned on him in some capacity.
Looking back on it, though, I now believe the most important clue was something we all overlooked at the time. There were pieces of clothing left at the scene.
Get dissolved, idiot.
Precisely. It's all thanks to you that I made the connection now. Back then, we all just thought they were some costumes that Jacques used to disguise himself at the banquet. But, considering it now, it's almost certain that they belong to a third person at the scene. With one extra person, we'll also need to reconsider why the 2 shots were fired. You're right. We still don't know what happened. But my intuition tells me that we're on the right track to figuring it all out. I'm finally headed towards the truth.
Jacques
Oh,
was
honey.
an empathetic man who was infinitely remorseful for his past actions. It's unlikely that he turned on Boss with 0 warning. I think this third person is probably the key to the full truth. On that note, however, even though this will not please you, demoiselle, as you're and your father's butler, I must still offer a word of warning.
Thanks, Alfred.
Our opponent is insidious and cruel. They are extremely difficult to deal with, and Boss has already lost his life trying to bring them to justice. Even though Spina de Rosula has lost most of its former glory, Poisson has welcomed a new time of peace, and we have been allowed to live out our lives. There is no need to follow your father's path. It would be both wise and in line with Boss's wishes to step back and give up on the case.
If that's indeed what he wished for, then he should have told me that himself. Was I not the closest person to him? And yet, I was the one most kept in the dark. What was the point of him dying without sharing any of the secrets he knew? Did he manage to protect anything in the end? Synth is still here. Callus the Unfaithful is still his epithet. And Spina di Rosula is barely getting by. Nothing has changed. Did he think I'd just accept his meaningless death and live out my life just as meaninglessly? I've never accepted that, ever. Not since that day, and certainly not now. I want to find out the real answer for everyone's sake. For the missing girls, for the victims, and for myself.
Navia.
This is indeed the best moment to act. Your partner appears to be quite reliable, and more importantly, Demoiselle, I think you're also ready to take this on.
So you do know something else, Malus?
Yes, I do. In fact, even before that banquet, Boss already knew of the connection between Synth and the serial disappearances case.
Hello?
But what drove all the tensions to the boiling point was the revelation that you, Demoiselle, had been selected as the next target to disappear.
What?
Yeah, that checks out. Like, of course they would target her.
Boss also didn't
If he's
tell
the one
you
going
that
after
he
them.
had been diagnosed with a rare illness. The doctors told him that he had no more than 5 years left to live. And
Okay,
the
this guy's
serial
kind of an
disappearances case caused him great anxiety. 5 years was nowhere near enough time to resolve this long-standing conflict. But once he passed away, all the danger would pass on to you.
And
Knowing
like he
all of
could have.
this, he decided to use one final intimidation tactic before his death. He claimed to have already gotten his hands on some key incriminating evidence for the other side, and even
Yeah.
told some members of Spina di Rosula about the details. But as long as you remained safe, he would not share the evidence with the public. If something were to happen to you, then he and all those he told would immediately expose all they knew about Synth and the disappeared victims.
Right, so nobody would be able to get off scot-free.
As we've seen, Boss's tactic has worked. Even though Boss has been gone for a long time,
That's
the other
literally
side
not
has
true.
tried to take Demoiselle's life.
They literally tried to take it, like, not that long ago in this quest.
No, I don't believe it. He never appeared to look sick to me.
Early.
No father wants their daughter to see them weak and haggard, especially someone as proud as Boss.
I think that Malus and Boss had something
Him
going on.
dying in a duel and suffering lasting dishonor as the unfaithful was still far preferable than losing face in front of his daughter.
Okay, objectively, he still lost face. She spent years very upset about this.
So he chose to die in silence, so that he could protect me.
I'm afraid you're not understanding this correctly, Demoiselle. What Boss wanted to hand to you was not a parasol, but a sword. If Boss's spirit could hear
I don't know
you
that this
telling
man is
me
sus so much
that
as he
you
is a
want to
man,
find the
you know?
answer for the sake of everyone involved, I'm sure he'd be extremely proud.
That fool. Couldn't he have just given it to me straight?
Yeah.
No. He might have set up everything precisely because he never thought I'd be able to understand him.
Oh, here come the tears again.
Is that the amount of confidence he had in me? And what if I was never able to make it to where I am now? Yeah. I suppose that's true. With the way he'd set things up, if I had wanted, I could have just lived out my life without a care in the world. But thankfully, he rarely talked to me about complex matters, and thus understood little of me as a person. In this case, he really didn't need to give me an easy way out. Malus, What was the key evidence that he shared with you?
It's the location where synth is produced. Essentially, it's the enemy's headquarters.
Like, I understand on some level why he kept this to himself. On the other hand, I am ready to launch him into the water that is directly below us. Like, just really punt him right off the boat.
When he was threatening the enemy, Boss didn't share the specifics of the incriminating evidence he found. But if you want to use it against the enemy, you'll still have to take several things into consideration.
Get souped, idiot.
Why? If we know where the place is, can't we just go storming in?
Paimon, I know you're stupid, but
You
come
mustn't
on.
forget that we're fighting against a mysterious and dangerous organization that's been in operation for decades.
Okay, in fairness, Malus, we have gone toe-to-toe with the Fatui, like, a lot of times and also fought gods. So, like, oh no, the drug soup trade. This is not
There's
that
no
big.
telling what might be lying in wait at their headquarters. We also
I don't know,
have no
soup,
idea
probably.
what kind of evidence we may be able to find inside.
And also, we're not
Nor
from Fontaine.
what
What are they
people
gonna
we may
do?
be able to
Soup us?
capture.
They can't. Without a blender, that is.
But a single visit to their headquarters would be tantamount to a formal declaration of war. The worst case would be that we leave empty-handed, but also open ourselves up to full retaliation.
Then, in that case, why not work with the Fontaine authorities?
Well, you saw one of them dissolve during Mr. Linney's case. We have no idea just how thoroughly they may have been infiltrated.
That's true. Seems my father really had no choice. Things are different now. It should be a lot easier to prove the other side's guilt, now that we've connected Synth with the disappearances case.
Is that not literally what we were saying your dad did, though? Like, was that not literally the whole thing?
You sound like you've put a lot of thought into this, Malus.
No, he doesn't.
I am the butler, after all. I live but to serve the boss and Demoiselle's will.
Malus, you know what her will has been since her father died? Because it's been solving this case that you withheld key evidence on for years.
I've always been willing to take on any kind of risk for your sake. But considering my relative lack of ability, I've spent my time keeping secrets, performing basic investigations, and waiting for the right time to come.
Thank you.
And
for
carrying
all of
around
that,
an
Malus.
oven.
Have you discovered anything new in the past few years?
Let me think.
Oh,
One conclusion
yeah,
I
you
came
just
to
casually
is
drop
that
it.
the enemy must be quite familiar with Spina di Rosula, or at least have an informant planted here. When I announced orders to the organization's members on Demoiselle's behalf, I used to deliberately keep a few people in the dark and observe the reactions of the synth vendors.
If the informant is Silver, I will be so upset.
If the vendors didn't change their plans, then the individuals informed of our orders must be innocent. If the vendors packed up and fled, however, then someone must have given them the news. After several rounds of testing and investigative tracing, I've narrowed the suspect list down to 3 people.
I'm just saying, if you've been doing this for years, I feel like you would be able to take that 3 people down to 1. Or just that all 3 of them are guilty.
The first is Florent, Spina di Rosula's senior advisor.
Oh, but his little suit is so fun.
Florent?
Also,
Yes, surprising,
should they
isn't
be,
it?
like, talking
He
about
was
this?
one of the people Boss trusted the most, which also means that he was someone who understood Boss really well.
Just for a moment. Is this really something we should be discussing just, like, in front of God and everyone in the middle of headquarters? Because this kind of feels like a go to a more private location kind of conversation before you're like, by the way, here are the people that we think might be traitors.
Thanks to his
Like,
position
Maluz, I think
within
that maybe
Boss's innermost circle,
just like
he
a little
always
off
knew
to the
our upcoming
side.
plans and
Or
could
some
thus
attempt
avoid
to
capture this
speak
whole
more
time.
quietly. An aside, oh my god, and the theater kids will respect it.
There's someone else like him too. Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabrières.
Uncle Marcel.
It's a guild in Poisson. The boss helped it to grow to its current size and prominence. In the beginning, they were only reselling some daily goods, but now they're one of the richest guilds around with a lot of business connections in the city.
So, they're like a sister organization of Spina di Rosula?
That no longer needs Spina di Rosula.
Yes, you can say that. When we were fighting against the synth dealers, they provided us with plenty of support. It's a bit difficult to imagine someone using their own money to hunt down themselves.
I mean, they could have.
The final
Like-
suspect is Thierry, the man responsible for coordinating information between Spina di Rosula and the guards. Although the guards mostly leave us to our own devices, there are still many activities we have to report to the local authorities.
Helpatui is right there.
Since Thierry is always in the know about our current activities, he could theoretically always plan one step ahead.
I see. These are all people who I communicate with quite regularly.
Luce just walked in and was like, I am going to destroy all of the trust that you have in everyone you've ever met.
To think that the enemy we've been fighting against has been right next to me all along, among those I trust the most. It's almost too hard to believe.
If you want to investigate them, please take every precaution to not alert the quarry. Judging from our experience, the enemy is extremely cautious.
Of course. And thank you, Maluz. You've provided us with a lot of great information.
You're too kind, my lady. I'm just doing my duty.
Don't push it.
And before
I'm a little
I forget,
irritated with you
proving
still.
Boss's innocence would also mean clearing him of blame in Jacques' death. After that incident, Jacques' wife and daughter were taken into the Spina's care. They still live in Poisson today. If it might help, you could also pay them a visit. I can make the necessary arrangements.
Good lord. If it's Maluz himself, that'll be so sad.
You really are the best.
Oh no, now they're playing up the he's so
awaits,
good.
my dear partner. I hope we can work together to uncover the truth.
Yeah, because I
and
mean, he
end
would
this
be
case
currently just
once
severing
and
her
for all.
relationships with her most trusted advisors and making her rely entirely on him.
It is settled, then. Please excuse me, and enjoy your conversation
Yeah, that sounds
at
like a
your
really
leisure.
enjoyable conversation. Why are you excusing yourself, Maluz?
Thank you for arranging everything for us, Maluz.
Excuse me, miss. Do you need anything from us?
That kid looks so spiteful.
Hey, Navia's all quiet. This isn't like her at all.
I'm sorry that I only came to visit after all this time. After what happened, I didn't know how I was supposed to face the two of you.
Ah, if it's about that, there's no need to apologize. After my husband died, Spina di Rosula sent us a lot of mora and support. I understood
This
your
child-
guilt and apology to be genuine.
Does not forgive you.
But aren't all of those things nothing compared to the loss of Jacques? I can understand the kind of pain that comes with losing a father so needlessly.
You don't understand at all.
Get her ass.
I didn't know how to face you, because I didn't know what I could possibly bring as a consolation gift.
That is so French.
I know only the full truth could bring closure to you. And to all of us.
I'm sorry. I appreciate the sentiment, but you don't have to carry all that guilt. On the matter regarding my husband, my daughter and I have more or less found our answer already.
Hello?
Would you mind sharing it with me? I really can't believe that my father could ever bring himself to shoot Jacques.
Here's an edible arrangement.
I always knew that my husband's money was earned through others' suffering. He told me countless times that if he could turn back the clock, he would never go into the synth business again.
Again, these are conversations I feel like we should not be having in just, you know, the middle of God and everywhere.
He had many regrets, and felt that he took the idea of providing for his family too literally. For the longest time, he thought Mora
especially
was
considering we
everything.
know the Hydra Archon kind of has eyes and ears everywhere. There's so many choices. Like, do they want the chocolate-covered strawberries or just straight fruit?
So when Mr. Callis came to him with a proposal, he accepted it almost immediately. He tried to be as careful as he could, but even so, he was still found out by the higher-ups.
They found out about his betrayal?
Girl, are you really
Papa
surprised
didn't
about
say
that?
that exactly, but Papa did tell me that I should never be ungrateful.
Before he left that day, he told me that he had no choice. It was only later that I realized it was his final farewell to the two of us.
I'm just saying.
I don't know that for sure, but you could say that's the conclusion I eventually came to. Which is why I'm the one who should feel guilty. Callis had always taken great care of us, both when he was still alive and after he passed away. Even if he fired the shot that killed my husband, it was likely in self-defense. It is impossible for me to hate him for what he had done.
But Mama, why is Papa still the bad guy if he did the right thing? Papa always wanted to be a good man, so why did he have to do a bad thing in the end?
Well,
Girl, you're gonna learn
things
about
aren't
politics
always as
one
they
day.
seem.
It's gonna blow
You
your
still feel
mind.
like your papa was a good man, right?
Yeah, Papa was a really good man. The best in the whole world.
Then you should
So
hold on
precious.
to that. If a good man had to do a bad thing, then he must have had his reasons. Regardless of whether
capitalism,
he left
baby.
you a parasol or a sword. He must have done so to give you a better life.
Okay,
Oh.
now we're projecting a little.
Thank
Like,
you.
I know that you
for
have similar
everything you've
trauma,
told
but, like,
me.
reel it back in,
I
honey.
will definitely find the truth. The current state of things is not something I'm willing to just sit back and accept.
Thank you. I'm very grateful to hear this from you. Even though your personality is quite different from your father's, your determination when you speak is really similar.
Yeah, the VA is
You
putting in the
really
work.
think so?
VA is doing amazing.
That's the first time anyone said that to me.
Oh, honey. It is also possible he told him about the order
Are
to
you
try to,
okay,
like,
Navia?
figure it out.
I'm fine. Don't worry. Let's investigate the 3 suspects next.
I
Garage
think
should
we
be
should
nearby,
investigate
And we
Maloof's.
should be able to find Thierry and Uncle Marcel in the city.
Translation. You have
Greetings,
no people
boss.
skills.
How may I be of assistance today?
I'm sure
Are
you've
you a
heard about
filthy
what happened
fucking
at the
traitor?
Opera House. Someone got turned into water right in front of us.
Yeah, I've heard. With something that dramatic, I'm sure journalists will milk it for all it's worth. And it'll be all the talk for the next several weeks.
He's not
It
wrong.
also reminded me, on the day that the incident happened with my father, it was raining outside, and we found some clothes left at the scene. After my partner here put the dots together for me, I feel like we should try to reopen his case. Can you do me a favor and try to recall what happened that night?
Let me think. Mr. Callis was feeling pretty upbeat that day. So he was drinking and bantering away with us at the table. After that, he told us that he wanted to go get some fresh air. So we let him go without thinking much of it. Who knew that we would hear 2 gunshots ring out right after? My first reaction was that Mr. Callus's life was in danger. So I grabbed my holster and made a mad dash toward the scene. But when I got there, it was already too late. Mr. Callus was standing over a dead body with a gun in his hands. All we could do was look back and forth at each
I'm
other.
obsessed with whatever
not knowing
accent
what
they're
to
giving
say.
this guy.
So you also remember 2 gunshots then?
Indeed. The guards said that the first shot didn't hit anyone, while the second killed Jacques. But I've never really bought that explanation. Reason being, Mr. Callus had left his gun on the table. I even made sure to confirm that
interesting.
before running to the scene. But according to the guards, that doesn't mean he couldn't have had other guns on his person. About the clothes left at the scene that you mentioned. Do you think there was a third person there who was turned into water?
You're like, dude, did someone get juiced?
At least from our perspective, my father had no reason
Just like
to kill.
Krieg.
So he would also have no reason to bring an extra gun with him. The gun he was holding probably belonged to Jacques, or a third person on the scene.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you're saying Mr. Callus ended up with the gun because he seized it from one of the other guys? But hold on. If that's what had happened, then why didn't he share the truth with any of us? He didn't even want to face the Oratrice machine, and chose instead to prove his honor in a duel. Did he lose all faith in the courts after seeing someone dissolve right in front of his eyes?
I mean, I would.
About that.
Granted, I would have
Luz
lost
told me
faith
a
the
thing or
first time I
two.
looked at a single
So,
trial in this nation,
I think
but
I can understand why he committed to the duel. I'll tell you everything once the whole truth has been revealed.
I understand. Then I'll leave Mr. Callus's honor in your hands, boss. And if I may just say one more thing. The whole Callus the Unfaithful epithet has been a thorn in my side since the day it was invented. Many people have laughed at me for still calling him Mr. Callus, even after so many years have passed. But
I
it was
really love
Mr.
how bad the
Callus's
facial
trust
hair
that
is in
allowed
this
me
game.
to rise through the ranks of Spina di Rosula and live the life I lead today. No matter what others might say, he'll always be the man I
Man is from
respect the most.
Philadelphia.
And he'll always be my boss.
Don't worry. I will definitely find the truth. You and all our other comrades at the Spina deserve to know the truth as well. Hey, Thierry! It's me!
Oh, now, what brings you here, Miss Navia? I've heard that you made quite the name for yourself at the Opera House.
Oh, so you've caught news of that already.
Oh, okay. Hey, I'm also a member of the Guards, you know. The way you make it sound, people would think I was sent off to Poisson because I had done something wrong.
Are you sure there isn't a little bit of truth in that? Under normal circumstances, shouldn't you have been called back to the city already?
I mean, where I work is really up to me. Let's just say I enjoy the ambiance of Poisson. Callus did a fantastic job running the town, building Spina di Rosula from the ground up and clearing many obstructions in my way. It would be next to impossible for me to find a similarly easy but high-paying job in the city. Anyway, enough chit-chat. Are these two friends of yours? You, here for some formal business?
Yes. These two are my partners. What happened at the Opera House made us realize that Linny's case and my father's may be related. We're trying to reinvestigate the details of my father's old case.
Ah, I get it. You think there might be more to the case now that we know people can be dissolved into water, right? I was also flabbergasted when I first heard of it. If you want to go through the original files from your father's case, I can help you look for them.
That'd be much appreciated. Thank you. Actually, I have another question. Do you have the authority to dispatch Gardamex?
Yeah,
Of
this is a
course.
very weird
Without
conversation.
them, I couldn't possibly handle Poisson on my own. Why do you ask? We definitely can't use them to forcefully get more evidence for your father's case.
Well, you see, just recently, we were attacked by a horde of unnumbered Gardamex in the city. So, if you hypothetically wanted to do something against me, All you would need to do is get rid of the mecha serial numbers and send them after me.
Yeah.
Then you think
Awesome.
too highly of my abilities. Dispatching mecha is very different from controlling them. If I had to make an analogy, when you order a dish, the chef will make it for you. You can ask the chef to cook, but not to massage your shoulders.
I mean,
or
you can
carry your
ask.
baggage. If you try to make unreasonable demands, the chef would just think you're out of your mind and ignore you completely. The same goes for me and my Gardamex. Removing a serial number is also not as easy as you might think. There are a lot of complex steps to it, and it's almost impossible to keep it a secret.
Respectfully, why do you know that? Like, that's really, yeah, like, one, you're not even pretending to be concerned. Two, you're like, yeah, no, that's just really hard. I know exactly how to do it, but, like, it's really hard.
So I can promise you, those mecha were definitely private units.
But, like, you're familiar with how to work with them.
They're certainly not cheap. So, whoever their owner is must be super rich, powerful, or both. Now that you mention it, though...
Not now that you mention it.
The synth business would definitely be profitable enough to afford this.
Horses weren't mammals. I think about that pretty frequently as well.
Oh, then you're officially in the clear, Thierry.
Serious? She is too trusting.
Oh, thank you for the vote of confidence, Navia.
Have no confidence in you. Frankly, I don't even think you're necessarily the slimy one we're looking for, but I do think you would flip on anyone for money.
Jokes aside,
It's also
I'd like to
possible
wish you
she's
all the
bluffing.
best with your investigation. I'll be staying in the city for a little while, so just come find me if you need any support from the guards.
I think there's also just the inherent fact that he's a cop. It's not helping his case. Because also, like, his tip about the Gardamex being... God, I love the dogs. They look so goddamn stupid. The thing about the Gardamex is he didn't really tell us anything new. That's all stuff we already... Like, we were like, yeah, it has to be someone really rich and powerful to be able to command something like that. Like, you've provided nothing of value, essentially. Yeah, the music is incredible. I really have to stop almost killing child. I mean, I don't have to stop, it's kind of funny, but I should.
Hello, how may I help you?
I'm here to see Marcel. Could you please let him know? You can just say Navia's looking for him.
Yeah, he kind of does.
Sure, I will let him know right away.
Have you seen him first showing up in the Fontaine quest?
Navia, hello. Sorry to keep you waiting.
Oh, only in the
Not
trailer?
as young as I used to be, so my legs
His
are
actual showing
giving out
up
a
first
bit.
in the quest is incredible. Yeah, no, I figured. I just didn't know if you'd watched anyone else.
Oh, it's all right, Uncle Marcel. There's no need to stress.
There's a little need to
I
stress.
just wanted to talk to you briefly about what happened in the Opera House. I'm sure you saw everything
How'd you
too,
enjoy the
right?
end of Inazuma?
Yes, I've never seen anything so strange.
Oh, you were at the Opera House too?
That's right. I went there with Navia to see the magic show. Who knew it would turn into a whole murder mystery? I also witnessed your marvelous sleuthing work. Quite impressive. To beat the Hydro Archon at her own game on her own turf, I can already imagine everyone in Fontaine discussing your exploits over a few glasses of wine.
Yeah, the lesbians really made that quest.
Oh, Paimon doesn't want to become the talk of drunkards.
Paimon, you already are. That's literally the entirety of Mondstadt.
Apologies. It's just how Fontaine is as a nation. Everyone loves drama and theatrics.
Uncle Marcel, you've also noticed that other thing, right? The fact that humans can dissolve in water?
Yes, I was reminded of your father's case right away. Is that what you're investigating now?
Exactly. I still don't have much solid proof, but I can sense that the other side has already begun to act.
And I wonder.
And what makes you say that?
We were attacked on Araneus by some unnumbered Gardamex. And there was also an attempt to get me to drink water from the primordial sea. If
I'm not
for the
smart. I don't know
vigilance of
how
my
to
partner,
make a
I probably
poll.
wouldn't even be here talking to you right now.
10 channel points for child death.
Credit. Wasn't it you who protected us?
Alas, it
Didn't
seems
ask
things
for
are
it.
heating up again. The peace that Callus sought so dearly will soon become a thing of the past. But rest assured, Navia, Poisson will always remain a safe haven for you. If you're scared, you can always return there.
That's kind of
If anyone
fishy.
dares to lay their hands on you there, the Confrérie of Cabrières will use its funds to the last Mora to bring them to justice.
Thank you, Uncle Marcel. But I don't intend to go into
It's funny
hiding.
because
I'm going to strike while the iron's hot. Do you have any new thoughts on my father's case?
About that. Sorry, my age is catching up with me, so it'll take me a while to recall my memory.
that feels a little sus.
The Confrérie was responsible for that banquet.
Yeah, I don't
so I was
actually
out and
know
about
how
the whole
to.
time making sure things were running smoothly. I didn't even have the time to drink with the guests. Then I heard
Fun
the
fact,
sound
I
of a
can't give
gunshot,
myself bits.
and the rest was history.
Oh, it's okay. No need to push yourself. We'll ask around some more. See if there are any valuable clues elsewhere.
Sounds good. Just let me know if you ever need Mora. All my wealth comes from Callus's patronage and support. I'll spend however much it takes to clear his name.
We've
I'll
talked to
drop him
all
from
three
higher up, I
suspects,
promise.
purely based on their conversations with me.
None of them sounded particularly suspicious.
That's because you people are way too trusting. I'm just saying.
I suppose that's to be expected, though. If a single conversation's all that's needed to find them out, then my father wouldn't have needed to investigate the case for so many years.
Like, I think the first guy's the only one who didn't reek of sus energy. Like, the second guy didn't reek of, like, big espionage, but he did reek of, like, he could absolutely be paid off. Yeah, I think Florent was the first one. Because he, like, had details about the case at the ready and was willing to talk about them. Yeah. Like, it's definitely still possible that, like, he's got some stuff going on, but he at least, like... I would say he had the best vibes. He seemed to, like, have things that were, like, relevant to the case, willing to discuss in a way that, like, felt genuine. And then... yeah. Like, the cop, I think, could be sold, like, he could be bought for nothing. Butler, super sus. The uncle, I don't trust capitalists. Just hands down. But the other, like, advisor guy didn't send any flags for me.
Anyway, even though we didn't make a breakthrough, let's still compile what we were able to find.
But where should we start? Ah, you're right! Florent mentioned that Callus probably only ended up with the gun because of circumstance. That makes sense.
20% please discount on the People's Soup Buffet. Oh my god.
According to Jacques' family members, he already told them that he had been discovered, and that he had no choice before he left home that day. If I had to guess, he probably received an order from the synth boss to kill my father. Had he refused, he and his family's lives would have been forfeit.
So, Jacques fired the first shot?
Oh?
Good for you.
And why is that?
Ooh, that's a good point. Jacques probably already knew that he was just
Oh my
being
God.
used as a tool for murder.
Good night, Mama.
And once
Thank
he
you
had
for
completed
coming.
his mission, he'd be of no more use to his boss.
Huh. So, what would make more sense from his perspective would be to turn his back on the Order and seek protection from my father.
Oh boy.
Makes sense. But without evidence, that's still just a theory. Besides Jacques, the attack from the Gardamex has been bothering me quite a bit as well.
Yeah.
It's obvious that our enemy has become more antsy after the secret of the primordial seawater was revealed.
Which did happen right in front of Sugar Uncle,
Do
who
you
has
think
plenty
he
of
knew
resources.
even then that we'd follow this lead to the end?
Given everything that's happened since, it's quite possible. But who among the 3 suspects would have the ability to control privately owned Gardamex? Uncle Marcel? My father did really trust him.
Yeah.
And they worked together on a large number of projects. Maybe that's how he got to know Jacques.
Like, the vibe I got from the cop is not that he's a mastermind in this particular thing, but, like, that he's totally sold them out before. Like, has been going to do a report, and a synth dealer got to him and was like, I will give you a cool $5 bill to tell us where they're ambushing next. And he would be like, absolutely, say less. Like, I think that's the slimy vibe I get from him, is less so mastermind and more so, like, not particularly loyal. By, like, a long shot.
And with funds from the Confrérie, he could also afford a large number of Gardamex. It's still really hard for me to imagine, though. After all, Uncle Marcel has been around since I was just a child.
This is your mistake, Navia. You should never trust men.
Also, wouldn't this mean he has been spending a whole lot of mora and energy to fight his own synth business?
I mean... Okay.
Thierry, you say? Huh.
I think it's unlikely, but this means that it's the other guy, and that makes me sad. I don't like to be wrong. I like to be right.
But I didn't feel like he was lying when he was talking to us about the mecha. I also don't think he'd be able to keep that kind of tampering under wraps.
Yeah, had he actually tampered with the mecha, we'd be able to prove it with a simple check of the guard's inventory. If the mecha were taken from the guards, it should be pretty easy to find out when and how that happened.
I don't want it to be the other guy. He's the one I liked.
Florent? It is true that he was closest to my father, and thus had the best chance of learning about his dealings with Jacques.
That's true. It could also just be a go through all the options.
But as
Okay,
Spina di Rosula's advisor, his work mostly deals with personnel and security. So he
Oh,
shouldn't
does that
have
mean
much
it's gonna
needs when it
circle
comes
back
to
and we're gonna be like,
finances.
hey yo, it's Malus? That's also possible.
So you're saying he's too broke to afford a mecha army?
I don't think she was gonna say it like that.
Exactly. He can't. And even if he could, I don't think he would be able to dispatch a whole group so quickly. Who could it be?
Oh, here we go. Wait, okay. Which of the 3 suspects was most likely to have committed the crime? Oh, that's irrelevant. Okay. So, Florent, advisor, claimed he was very grateful, present at the banquet, and can provide evidence that Callus did not carry a gun. Yeah, pretty much. Thierry is the person responsible for official contact between Spina and the guard. Marcel is the leader. Close working relationship, those recollection. Yeah, like, I don't trust
know,
rich people.
If you think everything through, Uncle Marcel is indeed the most suspicious of them all.
I know it's just like for narrative purposes, but I also do feel like it could be a multitude of people, you know?
Missing other suspects? Malus didn't know about the people turning into water thing when he narrowed it down to these three, did he?
Did he? Did he? Did he know? Did he know about that? Huh, that's crazy. We should think about that.
Malus has always been very reliable, and his judgment of others' trustworthiness has been fair and well considered. When he laid out his case for the three, the rationale he gave me made a lot of sense as well.
Did it? Did it make a lot of sense?
The suspect is knowledgeable about the Spina's internal affairs, has the means to dispatch Mecha to assassinate us, and possesses significant intellect and foresight.
And, you know, withhold information for years. That's crazy.
Even if I don't want to believe it, I'm starting to see how things could all tie back to Uncle Marcel.
Or to Malus.
Well, we still have another trump card on top of all the theorizing and speculating.
Yes, Malus did say that charging straight in there would be extremely risky.
I don't think we have no other options.
Other options right now.
Like, yeah, maybe right now in this exact moment, so maybe we chill for a minute. Y'all have got to stop doing things in under 24 hours.
Before we can hope to go charging in on our enemy.
Navia, here you are. Oh, I've been looking for you.
Oh.
Huh? Aren't you the guy from the guards? Did something happen?
Bro, where did you just come from?
Yeah. News came from Irenaeus just after you left. We've got another trial on our hands.
Oh?
Wasn't that place built specifically for holding trials? What's so newsworthy about this one?
I know. But they said the person they're putting on trial is a Fatui harbinger called Tartaglia.
God damn it. Let's go.
What?
Oh
is that
my god.
Yeah.
They're like, oh god. God, it's my ex. His on-again boyfriend.
Well,
oh my god.
He's been accused of being the true culprit behind the serial
It
disappearances
really is.
case.
That's not his deal.
It's absurd, don't you think?
Wait, how? None of our investigations have had anything to do with him.
Exactly, child's rights and child's wrongs.
That's what I thought.
Listen,
was
he
strange
has
about
lots
it,
of
so
wrongs.
I came to tell you the news right away.
But he prefers to fight to the bloody death, not dissolve people. Showing up in court like, no, Your Honor, you don't understand. He's too bloodthirsty for this to be his crime.
If the charge against him stands, then it'll be next to impossible to get the guards to support any of our planned investigations.
Right. Because they'll think they've already found the culprit.
I think someone should point out to the guards at some point that they have, at this point, confirmed that they have... I don't think he would dissolve random people. That's not his MO. I think if you gave him the chance to, like, dissolve Senora, he totally would. But I don't think, like, that's part of his thing, is that his bloodthirst doesn't extend to just, like, normal people. And so the idea of him dissolving random women that he's just found in this other country doesn't sound... Yeah. Like, I think if you handed him this and was like, with one drop, Arlecchino's out of your sight, he might do it. Yeah, that also. But anyway, I think someone should point out to the guards / the trial that they have at this point convicted multiple people for this, and then it keeps happening because of how they didn't actually find the person. Oh, yeah. But also I think he would fight them before dissolving them, because he prefers to get involved. You know, that's fair. Because I think, like, as far as these cases are concerned, not his MO, but, like, yeah, mid-fight I could see him dissolving people for fun and sport. He would be pro-soup. Sorry, no, I did not read your tone right.
Yeah. And it'll be a lot harder then to clear Mr. Callus's name.
I understand.
Give him a French water gun.
Partner, what do you think we should do?
Oh my god.
We still haven't found any conclusive evidence. Huh? Split up? What do you mean? Just as expected of my partner. Since this is a trial about the serial disappearances case, the culprit's attention will be focused on Irenaeus, leaving his home base wide open. You're right. This is our best opportunity. All right,
I wanna go see
let's do this. I'll
child
install them
being
at the
put to
Opera House
death.
and charge Marcel as the true culprit. I won't have any chance of making that charge stick, though, unless we find more evidence. It'll be up to you to make it back in time and hand the decisive evidence to me.
Oh dear god.
We'll help you, just like you helped us in Linny's trial.
Demoiselle, please allow us to
What's
accompany you.
over?
I'm ready.
Ah, Malou, Silver, when did you two get here?
We heard that you'll be leaving Poisson and figured that you might require our assistance. It's our hope that your confidence will be bolstered with the two of us by your side.
Thank you so much. Then, let's make haste for Irenaeus. Paimon, Traveler, I'll see you at the Opera House.
See you then!
Oh boy.